Can't this be a temporary? Yeah. Hey, newbie. How shall we fix this today? I think it can be a temporary, because all I need is the result of this. Although it depends on the number of... Or does it? No, it doesn't. Oh, damn it. It does. This is a fixed array, but then I need a sum. Theoretically, I only need a sum of a row. But that depends on the maximum number of elements, or actually on the actual number of elements. So that means that I need to keep this array, I guess. What is the size of this array? Partition count type. Hello, heaven. It's unsigned long. It's 8 bytes times. I think maximum number of elements 64. It's not that big, but 64 times 65 divided by 2 times. Oh, I did this before. Yeah, it's 1 megabyte. The only function that uses this table is this function, which is being called from table. Which fills it. It's just a cache. So it's either filled or you return a cached value. And then table is only called from apart from print table. Only called from here, I guess. Oh wait, yeah, recursively, but only called from here, and here we use it to make a sum. The only problem is that the wait a minute, yeah, it depends on the maximum number of sets. But wait a minute, the maximum number of sets, that's a constant. That just depends on the device. So I can cache this more efficiently. Hey, Nickon. I could call this function for all possible values of top sets and depth once, and then cache result, so that the next time I will not calling table if I use it afterwards. Or maybe split it and an initialization part. Yeah, it's possible, I guess. Number of partitions. Number of partitions is a function of top sets and depth. Yeah, that's a two-dimensional array instead of a three-dimensional array. So that would at least be smaller, significantly even. It's not a megabyte, but just let's say 64 times 64 times 8, 32 kilobytes. I like that better. It's a why not case. So let's rewrite this thing, this function. As a non-static. Wait, it has to be static, right? Yeah, it should be static. But then for a fixed number of maximum number of sets. Regular streaming times, not really, no. I mean, mostly the whole day. No, I mean, they're more or less often overlapping, yes. I mean, it's not 100% random, but I don't want to pin myself on anything. Exactly. Alright, so knows it. Okay, now I'm just gonna be stupid here and assume that the table already exists, as it were. So we got a static table. Yeah, I cannot think of a better name than number of partitions. Let's just make a two-dimensional table like that. Okay. But then that means that I don't think I want to support more than one device, right? I mean, you could have 2 graphics cards, but I don't. Supporting multiple graphics cards. If I do that, then really this should not be static. It should be an element of the logical device. Or something. Or it should be cached somewhere, maybe in an application object, and then the logical device would have a pointer to the cached table. So it's all doable, but I don't even have more than one device in my PC. So I don't want to put time into all of that right now. But it's bugging me. Let's see who is calling number of partitions. Print table and random is calling it even. When you mean even, only random is calling it. This is the function that is calling it. So yeah, who is calling random? Do I have the logical device here? I think I did. I'm sure I do. There it is, logical device. Cons reference. Yeah. Partition count type. Okay, so my logical device is going to have a number of partitions element, which has the type standard array of standard array of partition count type, and the size of each is a number of elements, so max number of elements. Right, now I'm sure I already included the header. Yeah, array, I mean. If not here, then somewhere else. But let's add it anyway. And yeah, partition count type is defined in partition task. Vulkan partition task. Do I really want to include that? Probably not. I'm just going to make a duplicate here. Max number of elements is kind of the same problem, I think. That's defined in element.h. I just also do not really want to define it again. It's just bloody 64. I could move this whole thing in its own header. It's probably the most sensible sorry, the most sensible thing to do. This is in partitions. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's create a new header in this directory here. Defs.h. I wish you guys could hear the same music as me. I hate YouTube. Listening to different music for a change, but it's nice. Okay, so set.h includes element.h. Element.h includes defs.h. Partition.h includes set.h. Partition task.h includes partition.h. So I don't have to include defs.h here again. We just have partition count now in the global namespace. No, sorry, not. We have it in the vulkan pipeline partitions namespace instead of inside this class. But I guess that the thing that I was editing was logical device. So this is now defined. Rather, this is defined. And so is this one. So we are now in namespace vulkan, right? I already looked at that. And these partitions was defined in pipeline, so really you need the pipeline partitions. Right, so now I have my M number of partitions here, which is a two-dimensional array. And I want to access it. So we need an accessor. So I need a function that returns this. I think it's called number of partitions. And that was the top set was an input, and the other one was God knows. I can probably just jump to it from here. Yeah. Int top sets, int depth. And it's not a const, I think. Sorry. Let me read what people say in the chat. Thank you, Jeremy. Database, what is Vulkan engine? That is an like a game engine. And unknown user. You can look examples. Superman has 3 partitions. Stuckin says, why not Twitch? When I was on Twitch, you would have said, why not on YouTube? That's really random. I have streamed on Twitch as well in the past. I must say that I have more viewers here at the moment than I ever had, including Twitch. So if I switch now, and I lose all my viewers. Yeah. This thing is going to return something. Namely, my array. But I have to initialize it. If something, initialize it. I think the something can be read because this is an array which is yeah, not initialized. So no, we have to add a boolean or something. So let's say number of partitions initialized, aka if it is not initialized, then we call initialize and number of partitions. Okay, it's a one-time thing. And this must be a public function because it's an accessor. Let's put it together with other accessors. I think indeed those are accessors, but they're not really accessors. Neither is this function, right? That probably has to be. It has to be. Time for another mutable. I have no idea where I want to put this, really. It's too big. Let's see. Realize. Set layout. I don't know. I like to put them more or less in the order that they are called. Should probably somewhere here, but I don't know. Just put it at a random spot. Yeah, and the thing must be const because I just only have const pointers to my logical device. Oops, undo, redo, I don't know what went wrong. I pressed the wrong button, I think. Since initialize a number of partitions, well, that must be a private function, I guess. But it must also be const. It's totally not const, right? Shall I just cast this pointer here? Or is that too dirty? Because it's a one-time thing, you know. It's like, is it a one-time thing? It's a number of partitions. Who is calling that? Very well might be multiple threads calling this. Now I think about it. Yeah. Okay. It's like okay. I'll talk a bit more clear. So I think I explained this before, but I have this trick. It's used here. Thread save const. So it says that it is a const member function, but it's not really a const member function. The trick here is that I use const in the sense that if you have multiple threads, then it's okay to access some resource if you only read it. Multiple threads can read the same resource concurrently. It only becomes a problem when you're writing to it as well from at least one thread. So you're not allowed to write from two threads concurrently, and you're also not allowed to write from one thread and concurrently read it at the same time from another thread. Now, I often use a read-write mutex, so I can lock it. I lock a resource, and then I get const access, allowing me only to read it. So the read lock does block write locking, but it does not block read locking. So multiple threads can get a read lock at the same time. If there is a thread that wants to get a write lock, while there are threads that have a read lock, then that thread is blocked until all the threads that had a read lock release the read lock. And of course, if a thread has already gotten a write lock, then the threads that try to get a read lock are blocked. Anyway, you see the parallel between a read lock and const access. If you make a read lock, you can have concurrent access, but only read access. So in other words, it is okay for a thread that has const access, which is gets by read locking. I am using a system where you have to create an accessor type object, which then automatically locks, takes a lock, and then returns, gives you access to the underlying object, either as through a const pointer or through a real pointer. If you construct a read access type, you get only a const access, and you construct a write access type, you get full access. So if I construct on the stack a local variable, a read access type, I get const access, and then at the same time I know that it is read locked. And with that const access, I can call this. I can call from multiple threads at the same time, because the thing is const, so it's safe. So you see that there is a relationship between allowing concurrent access to a certain function and its constness. Now I make a big leap, but that leap I made at some point. And so then sometimes I'm using const not because it doesn't change my object, but because it is safe to call this function concurrently. So if the function itself is thread safe, then I make it const, even though it changes things in the object. It just has to do logging internally then, before it accesses something. So my thread safe const really means that the function is thread safe. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but yeah, C++ doesn't have good support for it, I think. Now here's another example then. So we just want to read something which needs a one-time initialization. So multiple threads can call this function. And the only thing is, what we normally do is read my table. So it can be const, and therefore multiple threads can call it, because they cannot change anything. They just read. So it's okay that they call it at the same time. Except, of course, the first time a thread calls it. If the first thread that enters here sees that it is not initialized yet, it has to initialize the table. But then if multiple threads at the same time call it, and at the first time, then all those threads have to wait until the really first thread is done with the initialization. But if you implement that correctly, then the const can stay here. So because of this initialization, it's not really const, but it's thread safe const. Now the problem is that I need to write to this thing here. There's two possibilities. Either I wrap it inside a mutex, and then I could make it mutable, like I did above here, like the M pipeline layouts is the keyword mutable. That means that even though you have only const access, you can still make changes to it. So I could make my new table here mutable, this table, and then I can just make changes to it. But in this kind, it's a little bit different. It's a one-time initialization, so I don't feel that's the same as mutable. It's yeah, a one-time initialization. Anyway, to block all the threads until we're done with initialization, we don't need a boolean, we need a standard once flag. I'm not sure how static once, call once works. I think like this, you put a flag first. And especially the calling of this member function, we need to pass this pointer somehow. So to do it like this, it would be a static function or a free function. And it's a member function. Let me just have a look at this documentation. I saw something. I don't know. I saw something in a minute. Where did I see? Ah, here. Once flag init. Specified. Expands to a value that can be used to initialize an object of type once flag. It's probably all zeros in all implementation, but you never know. Which then means that the other examples that I just saw are wrong. I'm guessing this is an aggregate initialization. Oh yeah, call once here is also mentioned, and you see we need a pointer to the once flag. What? Oh, this is C. Oh, this is C. Oh, okay. I don't think we need once flag then for the... Yeah, the C must do that, not C++. I was like, huh, what? But it's not necessary. So it's used, they don't initialize it like that. They just use a constructor, I guess. Right. Yeah, the easiest way is just use a lambda, I guess. Lambda works. So we want to call this function, which is a member function, so we have to capture this. And then that makes a copy of this pointer into the lambda. So you get a callable thing, which then in turn calls initialize number of partitions on that object. And it only does that once. Only the first thread does it, and while the thread is still calling this function, the other threads are blocked, so this is exactly what we want. WMP, Window P Manager. I don't know, what's that? Does the P mean? Erasmus. Okay, let's make this a private function. Words per minute. Oh, I don't know. Never measured it really. On a bad day, pretty slow. Make a lot of typos, I think. Certain words that go well. if I type them often. Where do I have my private function declarations? It's a lot of public stuff here. Is that the first private that we encounter? Ridiculous. So how many other privates do we have here? Nothing. Nothing is private. Well, the member objects are private. Yeah, well, okay. Now this one is therefore certainly thread safe. Did I write a thread safe? Const. Totally not const. That's what I mean. Yep, like that. Right, so now I have to implement that function. So I have to implement, initializing number of partitions here. Which exists of, the part of the code of the function that we were working on, which is, I don't know. No. Really not. Really not. Descriptor sets. Yeah, I don't think I should pass logical device to this function. It probably should make it a part of the partition task. Initialize the partition task with a pointer to the logical device. Oh boy, yeah, then I'm touching the partitions code again with vulkan specific stuff. But I'm gonna have to do that anyway. We want to wait, random. Well, I'm passing the logical device here. This is also inside partitions. Yeah. So it starts to infiltrate already. Oh well, okay. What can you do? Let's add the logical device pointer to the partition task. I cannot help it. Actually, it is a maximum, and I can't type, think, whatever. Maximum of sets, not elements. I'm making a lot of changes again. Ridiculous. So then instead of passing the number of sets, do I want to cache that? Max number set, minimum, max set. All right, like that. Yeah, okay. I need to jump back and forth between several files, which is not easy at the moment with this. We should open a new tab. I don't think I need this anymore, or this rather. Nikon, that's all in my head, yeah. I don't have anything else, and sometimes I do something on a whiteboard, but very seldom. Well, I could describe the feeling I have right now. I started doing something, and I complain all the time about my memory, which basically comes down to that I complain about not having a perfect memory. I forget things. So I started with something, and to be honest, I'm not really sure what it was. But I just don't think about it, as long as I have something to do. But then one thing led to another, and that led to another, and that led to another. So now I've made many changes. And at some point, everything has to come together. But I just lost the overview. And I think that when I was much younger, that would not happen. I could just make, a whole tree of side tracks or branches and follow that, and when I came to the end I would just go back and everything would go automatically. And now I look at git diff to see what the hell I was doing, to get new ideas, because I just lost what I was doing. So this is basically a waste of time. Why would I have to look at this? Just, the only reason is that I cannot remember anymore what I did. So this is probably not necessary anymore, because now we are going to pass the logical device to the constructor of the partition task and then cache it in there. So I have to change this back. What? Let's just save it. And this is also nonsense. I'm now writing it somewhere else, right? I'm adding this function like literally to the logical device. I think I said I'm going to rewrite it, so I even have the old one still. And we're not going to have this one. It doesn't even exist anywhere else. So this definitely has to be deleted. So let's see what I did. I added a new function to logical device, which is going to have to initialize a new array called number of partitions. And that it still has to be implemented. And I moved a few definitions to a new file, devs.h, so I can include it in logical division, logical device, instead of having to include much larger headers. Added a few missing headers. And so that devs defines this and this. And then I can define a two-dimensional array, which is now added. Still has to be initialized as to a logical device. And we have a once flag because it has to be initialized upon the first access. This then is an inline access function. And we simply return directly from a table. And the first time we get here in, we call this function to initialize it. I just changed this. Did I not save it? What the heck is this? Maybe I only changed the header file. The partition task is now storing a pointer to the logical device, which is then passed to the constructor and used instead of what was passed before. Maybe or probably we get a compile error because I only changed here the constructor here, and not the place where it is being called. That's not really what I wanted to see. But okay, here's an example, or I think that might be the only one. It should be the only one. Yep. So here we pass the logical device instead of the number of sets. We should not be needing this anymore. Let's just delete it, see what happens. Now I compile it. I hope that the only error I get is inside this initialization function, but it is not. I mean, I get another error here. The valid use of incomplete type. That's in a .h file. Dang. Yeah, well, let's make it. I'm just refusing to include headers here back and forth here at this point. So let's make, oops. Let's move this to the .cxx file. Formatting. Nope. Okay, and then yeah, we can not avoid it any longer. Include a logical device .h. Now that hurts, but it is what it is. I don't know. It doesn't. In one way, it doesn't feel right, but on the other hand, it's. I don't know. Doesn't hurt either, I guess. Not yet, anyway. Error no matching function call to call once. Const once flag. Why is the thing const? Oh, it's const because. Yeah, well, okay. So you can obviously not pass a const flag, and this must be a const member function. So now we really need immutable here to get rid of that const. Yep, that was moved outside of the class. But then again, okay, I still need this one, yeah. So max bound descriptor set returns an uint32 type, and which is unsigned, and this one is signed. But it's always positive, so I think it makes most sense to just cast that one to yeah. To the unsigned type instead of the other way around. Now, at least now I get here, but well, maybe there's more errors, so let me just comment this out for now. See if that was the only error left. Why am I so sleepy? That was the only error left. Good. So now we have to implement it. I think I made a mistake. Or not. No, maybe not. Or is this thing project sources 4? Seems stuck on this max bound descriptor sets. Yeah, my problem is that the number of elements is dynamic. That can vary many times. And its value would hide this value. Now I have put the array in the logical device with the idea that I can reuse it, because per logical device this is constant. I think I have to generate a table as if this value does not have this min. Just always use that. Very confusing. What the fuck? Yeah, I think I have to. I need to have a look at where this is used. This passed to a number of partitions. That only sets a limit. Why would I set a limit that is equal to the number of elements? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I need the standard min at this point here. And I put it here because I thought, well, this is going to be called multiple times, so why not cache the value? So, okay. I can leave it that way. But that gives the max number of sets kind of a dual meaning. You know, in some cases it means this, in other cases it means something else. Using the same variable for two different things is never a good idea. Yeah, the whole min does not make sense, but doesn't hurt either. Cannot remember what it is. Yeah, you could leave it away from that one. Also over this one, theoretically. Okay, no. Not max number of elements. No. Let's make a max number of sets. Damn it. Okay, let's print whatever this generates to give a feel of if we're on the right track here. Print the out entering. We see vulkan. Everything is vulkan. It's a bit too much maybe. And it's split up into multiple debug channels. That's what the DC means, debug channel. Buggy was not here when I worked with my multi-loops. Notice, let's just print a thing. That's going to be unreadable. An array of an array printed all on one line. It's not going to work, right? I just have to. Well, I have a Bagu. I have a multi-loop object which simulates a dynamic number of for loops inside each other. So that's not 3, but it can be 23 loops inside each other. And the number of for loops can even be runtime dependent. Something went wrong here. It thinks that partition. Oh, wait. Never matter. Don't mind me. It's a static. This is print tables is static. Oh, well, this is not static. Either that or I have to pass a logical device to print table. And this bloody prints my table. So the code that I just wrote is right here. Well, almost. See, I edited something out. No, did not. That's just too much. Plus it should be constant in the first place. Maximum number of elements seems to be reasonable here. Let's use standard minimum of 8 and max number of elements. Just 8. Okay. Why? Why 4? 5 even. Come on. Okay. Maybe not way too big, but something is wrong as usual. The number of partitions were given top set and depth. No, that's a sum. That is a sum. This prints a table. Okay, well at least we get to check it then. Yeah, okay. It's not really a duplicate then. It can also not be static anymore. If I get rid of the static array that I want to get rid of, then this table is no longer going to work like that. But I guess we'll run into that later. Yeah, it's just a debug function anyway. I don't know. Let's make it non-static for now. Pretty random, but we use that now. Cached value, M logical device and M logical device. Maybe I should just delete it because it's an old debug function for the partitions thing. I mean, this is printing stuff, and the first time I call it, it's going to initialize something that is also initialized now by calling this. So calling this here instead of from there is kind of weird. But okay. For given top sets with a given depth. Let's remove that weirdness. Nobody knows the number of partitions returns because Yeah, should I make it mutable as well then? There is no such thing as a Vulkan engine itself. Vulkan is an API. And a Vulkan engine, I don't know, everyone is working on one. I'm just one of the guys that works on a Vulkan engine. Okay, now let's run it and then see where we crash or something. Core dumped. That one, assertion. Oh, top set plus depth. Yeah, okay, well, okay. Thank you for the assert. Why is this an assert and not an assert? But for the rest. So now I just want to jump to that one function and I don't know what function, where it is. Where's that function? It's a waste of time, not knowing where the functions are. It is in logical device, .cxx. Okay, well, I was lucky that I remember that. In fact, it isn't. No. I don't think it is. I'm not printing the table. When I saw that, I thought, oh, that's the print table. But is it print table? Is print table even being called? Okay, it's a nice white square. Yeah, there. Interesting. So who is it calling this? Table with depth of 63. Initialize number of partitions. Okay, we've been stupid in this function then. That was the one that I just had open. Let's have a look at this file, knowing that it is stupid. Yeah, okay. That's exactly the same thing as printing it. So this is not allowed. Minus top sets. Depth is really the number of elements that we add. Which links are gone? If you post links in the chat, then nobody sees it. Maybe you see it yourself, but YouTube suppresses all links. Let's do something that makes sense. Is the top sets is it's a bit unclear, isn't it? Top set. Why would I not want to add more than? Yeah, oh, no. Okay, so okay. If you use the maximum number, depth is the number of elements that you add to a partition with this many sets. Now the maximum number of elements that you can add is if you have a lot of elements left over, aka if you use a minimum number of elements for the top sets, aka if you put only a single element in each of the top sets. So if I have 2 top sets, then I need at least 2 elements, and therefore I can add at most max number of elements -2. So that makes kind of sense. And we get the same problem. Also here, by the way. Here I'm just printing it, but still. And I had that other thing, I don't know where it is. Pipeline, partitions, something here, printing, partition task.cxx. Print table, there it is. Okay, here we run at most to 5. Yeah, so theoretically you could argue that if the top sets get a bit big, then you cannot even go to 5. -1 because it says equal here. I think that makes sense. Baku, why I put links to info about Vulkan? You're one of those guys who don't use the shift key and therefore no punctuation. So you probably meant capital W, Y, question mark. I just typed links for people with info about Vulkan. Thank you. But unfortunately, if you type in links, then YouTube suppresses them and nobody sees them. I guess I could put a link to Vulkan in the descriptions, but maybe I'm kind of like, if you don't even know what Vulkan is, then you should not watch my stream. But on the other hand, it's little to do with Vulkan at times. So if you just know C++ or want to learn C++ even, although I don't know, this is the right stream to watch to learn C++. I don't know. But links to what Vulkan is? No, I don't know. Convince Bear and then Bear can convince me. That's called delegation, I think. Crash. It does not crash. It works, and it printed loads and loads of shit. There we are. Now, the reason this is not readable is one of the things is that the numbers are a bit big. And it's still printed on one line. Which complete idiot function is printing this? Went out of my scroll buffer. Okay, that's not useful. Let's do this again, but then print it to a file. And then we edit a file. And then we look for the output. Was a space, right? And then we see that it is printed by threadpool1. Threadpool1. Really? Is it going to be like that, right? Threadpool1. I'll use a regular expression. Threadpool1. Entering initialize number of partitions. So that's the one that is printing it. And I don't like how it is printing it. Yeah, that is just a little hack here. Oh, yeah, funny. I think it's funny. I print a whole array many times. Oopsies. Oops. Depth. Who else thinks that was funny? I still think I'm printing. Oh no, you show a icon or a mushroom, I think what it is, and suddenly it's anything that is eatable, more or less. What is it? Anyway, you make me feel hungry. And now I want an ice cream, which I have in the refrigerator. What am I doing? Quit. Can we still find or we printed our beautiful output? I'm not so sure anymore if I am not missing it. If it's, oh, probably not. Here it is. Still not readable, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So what is horizontal? I'm used to depth being horizontal. I think this is the top. But yeah, everyone recognizes this by now. Up till here I recognize it. That's correct. That's the bell numbers, and it is correct. Actually, I said I recognize it up till here. Believe it or not. The bell numbers. Those are the 2 bell numbers. Well, okay, the other one, the bell numbers. This is the 2 bell numbers, which is 1, 3, 10, 37, 152, 674, 3,263, and 70,007. 1, 3, 10, 37, 152, 674, 3,263, 70,007. So this is the 2 bell numbers. And these are the 3 bell numbers, I bet, which I never tried to even find. The 3 bell numbers. And these are the 4 bell numbers. You'll think that at some point this database has to stop with listing them all. Because that goes on until infinity, of course. And we go on till, I'm just curious if the database still has the 32 bell numbers or not. That's maybe a bit too big. Let's try this one. And those are the powers of 32. That was not bell numbers. Oh, I know why it is the powers of 2. Yes, because you have only one set and the first column is the powers of 32. And then we add them, so even that is then verified. Oh yeah. Which means that at some point it's no longer the bell numbers. Let's say if I take 6, 15, whatever. These at like 15, and I guess that the first 15 or so are the bell numbers. But if we go close to 31, so 31 had only 1 column, so this is only 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns, 5 columns. So if I now take the first 5, I guess that's the 27 bell numbers. Nope. Okay, might have gone 1 too far then. Still not. They just don't list it. They stopped with listing bell numbers. Ridiculous. Well, I can maybe they still did the 15 bell numbers. What do you think? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At some point we get a mismatch. I just want to see the mismatch, and then I believe that everything works. Damn it, even not that. Suckage. Okay, forget it. Yeah, well, I'm already convinced it works, and that's it, right? So, depth, it's printing this. Yeah, it's printing depth horizontally. So that should be the bell numbers, I guess. And then I need to get rid of that table. The number of then is, if you have a start with a partition with n sets and you add m elements to it, either to existing sets or to a new set, then the total number of partitions that you can get after adding those m numbers is the mth of the series of the nth bell number series. So it has to do with partitions. If you ask me full time, obviously. I wanted to get rid of this fixme, which comes down to getting rid of this array, which is being used by table, right? That's why it's called table, I guess, or that's why table is called table. I don't know. I'm not using it anymore. Oh, I am. I just didn't see that it jumped here. So I think I can get rid of it, right? But maybe I should commit first. Let's have a look at the git diff again. Include initialize number of partitions in logical device. Yeah, that looks correct. So I'm going to delete this thing. That is, I knew we need it, but copy it as table 3D. Yeah, I want to have the comment as well, maybe. Let's just copy this or delete this part, including comments. And then I have to pass it to the number of partitions with sets. Which means I have to pass it to table. Which means I have to, I don't know. So now we're putting a 1 megabyte array here on the stack. Is that safe? I'm real, yes, I'm totally real. The reality checker. Are you real? I don't know. Did you not see the YouTube? Or they gave a Nobel Prize for 2-3 guys who proved that the universe is not real? I'm dead serious, you know that, right? Nobel Prize universe is not real. Locally then. So am I real? That is a good question. Anyway, there's a YouTube about it as well. This is just a website. How do I have time to watch so many YouTubes? It's amazing. I'm making them. I'm making them as well. I'm making them. My junk is, you can delete it as soon as I stop the stream, I think. That bad they are. Yeah, now really sucks that I have to type this same type again. So I'm not going to do that. No. Instead, I'm going to defs.h, add it there. Using something. Table 3D type is that. Partition count we have, max number of elements we have. Beautiful how everything comes together. Table 3D. Man, I could have gone to the bathroom if I had put something on my keyboard. Table 3D type, and we pass that to partition task table as a reference, of course. Table reference. Go to a bunch of tables here, which are not mine. In case you want to print it, I guess you have to pass the table. Otherwise, you mean you could print table, could generate the table itself, but then it's not really printing the table. It's printing something that it makes up itself. So. Not that anyone is going to ever call print table, but well. And just keep on supporting it year after year. Release after release. Now I forgot what I was doing. 20, I don't know. Okay, maybe here. So, where's this table 3D being used? Table 3D, table 3D, jump to the top. Ridiculous. Oh wait, here's one. Aha, it is used in number of partitions with sets. Table 3D type reference. Nah, cons reference. Because we are only reading it here. I have to add it as well. Let's add this to the end of number of partitions with sets. And I also added it to table, as far as I know. But then there wasn't const. The audacity, is that the right word? It just came up in my mind. Now I want to know what it means. Audacity. It's not what I wanted. Is that not a word, audacity? It's an English word. Audacity, yeah. A willingness to take bold risks. Rude or disrespectful behavior. That's what I meant. The audacity, yeah. The audacity that defs is not including standard array. include array. Bear is eating ice cream, I think. Could get ice cream now, or I can eat ice cream after my stream. It's two good options. The shop's closed 2 minutes ago, so that's not an option anymore. If I have to break into the shop, that is still an option. Binding reference to type vulkan pipeline partition count reference. Ik long in the reference disqualifies discards even qualifiers. Okay, 2080. Yep. Okay. Guess that's 32 times 63. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. 32 times 63 is 2016. What the hell is 2080? 32 times 65, of course, not 63. What shall we do? Fix this compiler, or shall we not fix the compiler? Return table 3D, what is the problem here? Concentrate. The array is const. And we're returning. I have no idea. I don't know. I think I should stop when I have state of mind like this. Oh, it wants to return a reference to the thing. Oh, why don't you say that immediately? And I thought it was just reading it. Nonsensical. Table 3D. No cons for table 3D. Yeah, my brother had COVID too. He messaged me a week ago, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago. And it was hard, and he was laying in bed and stuff. 6 days later, he was up and going again, and I asked, so what is the highest temperature you have had? And he said 37.5 Celsius. So that's like no fever whatsoever. I have, if I go outside and I walk a bit, I have 38. Easily. Anyway, I get to see him on Sunday, so I'll ask him what was so difficult about it. I'm very curious. Maybe he could hardly breathe. But it's kind of weird, you know. A virus causing a shitty sickness that makes you go to bed, but no fever whatsoever. Really? Weird. Really weird. My brother never lies, so I know it's true. He must have felt really shitty. Although he was over it also very quickly. But hey, he has a good, what is it? A good whatever. Some point he had, I don't know what it is in English. Let's translate it. Dutch to English. It says signal, so I don't think it's it can be translated unless it's shingles. Is that the right word? The meaning of shingles. A painful acute inflammation of the nerve ganglia, with skin eruption often forming a girdle around the middle of the body. caused by the same virus as chickenpox. So he had that. It was horrible, and he recovered in 2 days. That's ridiculously fast. I can tell you that. Really, really fast. Okay, that was a while ago though, but still impressive almost. I think I must have had it as well once. Although I was throwing it at the time, I was throwing it at what is it called? Allergy. I had eaten peanuts with something on it that makes it very sharp and strong tasty. Eat the whole bag, of course. And then not that long ago after that, I got the same effect, like an extreme itch around my waist. It's, what I just described. Like really, really itchy. And I also recovered very quickly, or maybe also within 2 days. So I don't know what I had, but I thought it was an allergy to that stuff, and I never bought it again. So I don't know. Anyway, I forgot what I was doing, of course. Error, no matching function to call to number of partition with sets. Yeah, we need to pass a table. Table 3D. At least I think we do. I don't know, but it works. FRC works. Also works. And of course, the hardest of them all, if this works, now then we are in business. Yep, it works. Triangle has been drawn. So, I got rid of the fixme. It is gone. So now this table is put on the stack, but it is 1 megabyte big. Is it a problem to put an array of 1 megabyte on the stack? What do you think? It's an awesome triangle. Random question. Length of stack pointer, it's not what I'm asking. Does anyone know? Anyone who's, into this kind of thing? Allocating 1 megabyte on the stack. Is that okay? I mean, it worked. No idea. It feels a bit big. That's more like it. On the Windows, a typical maximum size for a stack is 1 megabyte. Or 8 megabyte typical on Linux. Yeah, okay, so it's good. The more we do that makes it not run on Windows, the better, right? And it's kind of dangerous, I think. Hundreds of kilobytes already a bad idea, this guy says. Just put it on the stack. Let's just put it on the stack. It just feels too big, and it's close to what other people call too big. I guess get is the right thing. Well, it is. If it compiles, then it is. To get a pointer. Oh, I'm pausing a reference. Damn it. Ah, well. Cannot convert standard unique pointer to the reference. Yep. Okay. I could pass pointer, I guess, but Yep. It's horrible, but I'm going to pass a pointer. So let's find all these things. Stray. Headers and stuff. Substitute that thing with the same thing, but they're not really the same thing. And do the same for the other thing. And then find all the problems. Let's start at the top on the pointer here. Yeah, now I have to dereferences. Whoops. Wait, actually can do it just like this, I think, or not? Probably not. Wait, if it is a pointer. It's a pointer to an array. Jesus. Everyone else is happy because everyone is using a pointer. Yeah. Zishan has left us. Are you sure? I'll arrow down. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what arrow down was. I thought that there was an arrow up. That is like way faster in exploding. I think if you do 2 arrows up, you already cannot print it in the chat. There's also a YouTube about it, but I cannot remember it. Cannot even remember a keyword related to it. Isn't it related? What? It's related to one of those biggest numbers ever. The largest number. What is the largest number that was ever used in mathematical proof? The number of ... I have to find it. It's your fault. Graham's number. See, and they use arrows up. Up arrows are going so fast. It's like within no time it doesn't fit in the universe anymore. That's what I remember anyway. Yeah, well, it compiles, and I'll put it on the heap now, so guess that's it. Maybe you can do a low-hanging fruit. What about this one? Frame resources count pipeline characteristic initialize. I would think it did this, something is wrong here. That's what I think. Because instead of not using it anymore, I made it like permanent to use it. Didn't I? Yeah, I did. Okay, fresh. Thank you, man. See you. Well, I don't know, man. What is this access about here? This initialize function thinks it can just access my texture. Just like that. And a share of vert and frac below that. Thank God it takes it as a const reference. I guess multiple pipelines can use a texture. Then exactly what information is hidden inside that object? The background texture. A debug name that we see here, and for the rest nothing, right? I mean, I'm not passing anything. Well, I'm initializing it later, I guess. Like here, create textures, yeah. Got to do some initialization. Oh, here, okay. Extend, image view kind, map mode. Yeah, those are not things that you would change afterwards. A lot of, even some of this data is, I think, only like this maybe, is only needed for the uploading. Although that's also specified here, uploading to the GPU. Yeah, if you look at, say, this one. This function is called twice. Once with pipeline is 0 and once with pipeline is 1. So for twice for two different pipelines. And it is also calling add texture with the same sample texture. And that works just fine. Uniform buffers are also passed like that. I guess it's one hand it's a choice of the API. Do you want functions like this to be able to access your shader resources, in this case, directly, or should I add an accessor for it? Or I could change this block that does use this window pointer and move it to the window class. It's maybe better. Feels better. I don't like it. There's people that do nothing else and access objects of other objects. But that's not really encapsulation. It doesn't feel really safe. But on the other hand, I don't know. It reads reasonably well. There's a lot of accessing going on here. I did something else. Application. So the function ends here or something. Oh no, there's compile shaders, not even. class. Excusez-moi, but it ends here. Okay. Yeah, I could add an accessor for the shader index. That seems better than just grab it directly. But that's separate from these things. And these are mostly the only thing I actually see here and use so far is textures and uniform buffers. Oh, there's another one here. Define the pipeline and well, also top buffer. Oh yeah, these things are actually local variables that are just used here, so they are part of. And then we jump around. So this whole block, I can make this whole block a member function of the window class, maybe. I need a better name for it. Shader input data, I think. That object is so huge. It's ridiculous. I think the shader input data is the what is it? The junkyard or the beer pit, but then in English. Of the collection of data really that is used to is needed, I guess I should say, for compiling shaders, which is happening here. I'm calling preprocess on it, and am I using it again or not? Here, build shader. Yeah. And then this realize descriptor set layouts. But everything has to do with shaders, more or less. So yeah, I preprocess shaders, I compile shaders. Compiling is done last, by the way. This is just a callback. So first we preprocess it, and then I realize, aka create, if they didn't exist yet, the descriptor set layouts, and then that generates declarations and whatnot, and then we can finally really compile them. And in order to, well, the shaders, normally you have shader code and you compile it. But in my case, I want to generate declarations. And those declarations are the declarations for the shader resources. So uniform buffers and textures. So here I'm telling which shader resources are used by the shaders. Well, that I expect to be used by the shaders, and it should be the case, or it won't compile. And then we call a preprocess. So this is a preparation, as it were, or an registration, or an initialization. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to now. I want to call it like add shader resources, and I could go through the base class, the owning window. I use that as a virtual function, and then we don't need this either. Just cost. But that would mean that we can have only one function for a window that adds shader resources. That's kind of not going to work, I guess. I mean, I can have many shaders, and they might need different. Well, they do. I need a pass pipeline to it here. So it's definitely something. I'm not. Do I want a pass pipeline? Shall I just make two functions? Yeah. Making two functions would, on one hand, show that you can do that, which is probably more typical than doing this. On the other hand, it would be code duplication. I would have to duplicate these lines. I don't like that, although I could make two functions which at the end call another function, which they share, which is doing this, and I don't have the code duplication anymore. Okay, let's say I'm gonna do window and then add. I'm gonna pass pipeline, why not? So add shader resources, passing pipeline. And that then would be this whole block here. What just happened? I yanked it. I wanted to delete it. I also want to know what is going on here below. Preprocess, owning window. It's not even used anymore then, right? Window. Oh, here it is. It's still being used here. Yeah, I should make an accessor for this as well. Let's begin with this one. These are copied, aren't they? I mean, they're just temporaries now. Wait a minute. Top set. Add uniform buffer. Yeah, they are copied. Pretty sure on that. Okay, that should work. Need to add shader resources to window. So now we are in window, therefore I can just delete this. And we are in window, right? Yeah, of course we are in window. Indentations. 2 spaces, so must be in window. So window starts here. Right, for the rest I don't have this anymore, so I make that a reference. Oh yeah, and global namespace, yeah. Was in cons window, this argument discards qualifiers. Add shader resources not const. Of course it is const. Now add would, if you call this function on an object on the window and you say add, that kind of seems like it's not const at all. But in fact we are adding it to the shader input data, so maybe we should call it add shader resources to. And now this suddenly comes the reading source, the input, and this is the output. Yeah. I guess already. No, I didn't. So that's the one that I worked on, right? Let me try to just get rid of it, make it private. Did I put it in my mouse bubble? Yes, I did. Okay, that's weird. Why is this private already? Does it have access anyway? Because this is a class inside window. Is that automatically a friend then? Gotta be kidding me, right? It really seems that way. So because I defined this characteristic inside my window class, or maybe I shouldn't. It's a friend. Well, okay. I don't know. Let's leave it anyway like this. Everything works. One fix me down, I think, sort of. At least I deleted the comment. I could have just these two lines were apparently enough, but no, I don't know. Right. Something that is not implemented. Wow, loads of things here. Okay, this is not really a fix me, I think. Or is it? Update binding. Right. That's also fix me. Or is it? Good night, Everton. Think I'm gonna go offline as well. Getting tired. And I want my ice cream. Arrays already work, so this probably done maybe nonsense. And I'm just using a single. I just need a single whatever it is for a whole array instead of something related to the array size. I mean, they do work, arrays. I need to delete this. I don't think I need this. Hello, Fox Lemonade. I am from the Netherlands. Set index int. Yeah. It's my accent. I know. It doesn't look like you fix me. I need to fix me. Like right now. This also not. Just the changes that I just made. Did I make any changes? Not even sure. No, I don't think am I using an array? I don't care. I can look at what I just changed. Yeah, well. Oh, right. That one's definitely weird, yeah. I'm done with fixmes for today. I'm gonna go offline and I'll give it a try again tomorrow, this one. Special spy. What do you mean? Really? You think my C++ files are readable? Well, maybe because I use no abbreviations and stuff, but nice colors also. I don't know. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe. So, good night.